morning, welcome to Wholesome Roots. Well, that's right, girls. Drink up. Drink up. These goats go through so much water in a day's time. They have a fresh 5-gallon bucket put into their stalls every night. And then they come out here and they drink more and more and more. There won't be any dehydration in this group of goats. Even the babies drink a lot, even if it is from mama. Some of the babies drinking from the water, some of the babies drinking from mama. A little bit of both is good for them. The goats seem to be doing really well with our adjustment in the feed routine. We have lowered the amount of grain to a much lower amount. We did it very gradually. And we have increased the amount of Bermuda hay and decreased the amount of alfalfa hay to save cost. If I could, I would give everybody alfalfa and I'd give everybody grain all the time, but I definitely would like to make this a more affordable homestead.
We were young and we were free and running, never bothered about what could be.
All of the goats seem to be doing very well. They don't seem to mind the adjustment in the feed. Nobody's losing weight. In fact, we're gaining weight on some of our skinnier ones. So we must be doing something right. They are getting used to the Bermuda hay, which if you remember I was mentioning in the beginning, they didn't want to eat it. And now they are. Look at them eating away at it. They're spilling it on the ground like they're not supposed to. But hopefully they get that eaten up before any parasites crawl up onto the hay. That is why we don't feed hay on the ground, is because parasites live on the ground. And they will crawl up hay and be ingested and make the goats sick with their parasites. We don't want that. Some of you may have noticed Fancy 2 has a different collar. We're trying out, I bought one of these when I ordered my antitoxin from Jeffers Supply. And I wanted to see what they were like and change over all of our goats to this safety link collar. I don't like using collars on the goats for the risk of strangulation, but I have to have collars on them to get them to go where I want to. You notice the babies don't all have collars because they follow mama, so I'm able to pull mama's collar and they follow. But eventually they will have collars too. So funny, you can't even see the ducks. They're bedded down in the grass. They're hiding from me, Bo. Bo's trying to eat my camera tripod. What are you doing, Bo? Oh, you're such a mama's boy. What a mama's boy. He says, if mama's by the gate, I'm coming to the gate to see mama. Because I love mama. Love my mama. He's such a mama's boy. Sweet boy. Stinky boy. He's still in rut. You see the other 2 bucks are back there sticking their head through the fence eating blackberries. I just wanted to thank everybody for their suggestions when I asked about doing videos on foraging and how I should do them. The Foraging Friday videos are become kind of a delight for me to make. I just finished filming my Forage Friday video for this week and it will be on elderberry, so make sure you check it out on Friday. Unfortunately, we have had some bad luck with our pumpkins. You see how poorly they're doing? That is because of the squash vine borer. You see, we tried to bury the stem where the vine borer did so much damage. Oftentimes, if you bury the stem with mulch or compost or soil, they will actually regrow roots and survive the attack of the squash bug. So we're hoping that pieces of this pumpkin patch will survive, but it's not looking so great right now. Sadly, this year's summer garden was a complete and total epic fail. The only thing we have growing that's alive and healthy looking is the asparagus, which that's not a summer garden thing, but the pepper plants are still there, the ones that the goats didn't eat. Got a few cotton that came up, a few sugarcane that came up. We got lots of peanuts. They, I think, are gonna do well. I need to get in here and weed those little tiny weeds in between them. And we've got some adzuki beans coming up. Everything else is just horrible. And not just because of the weeds. Yes, the weeds are a huge factor. Yes, I failed miserably at that. I'm not saying I didn't. But this year has been a horrible year for weather here in Georgia. It has been unusual circumstances. Pretty much every gardener and farmer that I know is complaining about how things are just not doing well this year, unfortunately. The good news is that I do live in Georgia. I could get in another crop of some of these summer things that you can self-sow. So green beans, cucumbers, summer squash. I've even seen pumpkins, watermelon, and winter squash put on some people's list of things that you could seed in the garden in July in Georgia. So we have a long growing season. We have all the way till the end of October before we see a freeze. So there's a good chance we could get a harvest if we have time to get out here and plant again in July. I'm hoping we do. I'm not gonna beat myself up if we don't. I've had too much to worry about that. My health has kind of been iffy lately, and I'm trying to get on top of that and figure out what's wrong and get that under control. And I just want to focus on the things that I can do, you know, taking care of the goats and the chickens and the other animals, getting more quail. We're gonna have quail hatch next week. It's just the things that are easy for me are the things that I need to put my energy into. The things that are difficult and hard, I need to kind of let that go right now, because difficult and hard has been hard on my body lately. And then of course, we always have the fall garden to look forward to. Fall gardens in Georgia usually do very well. I'm always happy with my fall garden. It seems like it does better than a spring garden. I think in the spring, it gets hot too soon and everything bolts or doesn't form heads like the cabbage. You know, just things like that. But the fall garden, we have mild temperatures going from fall to winter, very mild. So a lot of those plants that we plant in the fall do really well. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that we can get caught up on some things by then, that it won't be too hard for me to keep up with a nice small family garden and not trying to focus on growing too much. One thing I can confidently say I know I'm doing right, and that is the goats. They are giving me so much milk. I try not to get discouraged or disappointed or complain about the fact that I haven't had as many milk customers as I used to, because there's one huge benefit. I get to make cheese like every day. So I am going to make a big batch of mozzarella today, right now. As soon as I go in and filter and chill my milk, I'll put it on and make a big batch of mozzarella cheese. And I might even make some fermented beverage with the whey and see how that turns out. There is another YouTuber, James Garrett. He does a recipe called Bland, and it's using whey to make wine. I want to try that. So thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.